In this video, we'll be looking at more of the options of the tool axis control and collision control. In the previous video, we had set up to use the tool control to use a chain for the holder and the linking of the tool. As we saw, the tool is colliding with the side walls, so we need to be able to fix that. We need a little more control over the shoulder, shank, and holder so it will not hit or collide with the side of the part. So we're going to go back into collision control and add another strategy to see if we can fix this issue with the tool contacting the side of the part. So let's go ahead and make a copy of the first operation. So I'll select that here, and I'll right click and drag that down a little bit and say copy after. I'm going to go back and left click on the toolpath here for the first one, just to step that through for a moment. We can see it makes contact with the side of the part there, and also on the other side there. So it is following our chain. Let's go ahead and say OK. Let's go into the parameters on our copy. Our cut pattern and everything else is going to stay the same. Our tool axis control is going to stay the same. Now we're going to go back into collision control. And we can see that we have the first one that's based on just looking at where the flute makes contact with our part and says trim and relink toolpath if it needs to worry about gouging. So in this case, what we're going to go ahead and do is add a secondary strategy. So we're going to go ahead and add number 2 here. I'm not going to worry about checking against the flute, but I want to go ahead against the shoulder, the shank, and I'll go ahead and select the holder. So if any one of these 3 areas make contact with the area or the sidewalls that we define, it'll automatically move that away. But by default, we have it to trim and relink toolpath. I would like it to just tilt away. So I'm going to go into the option here and say tilt tool. It'll look automatically. We don't need drive surfaces, but we do want to go ahead against some check surfaces. So we'll go ahead and select the check surface box. You'll see this gives us the option to go out and select geometry. So we'll go ahead and select option. And we'll go ahead and look at the color options here. We want to go ahead with number 4, being the red area. You can see it's all highlighted in here. This is good. We'll go ahead and say end selection. And we'll say OK. And let's regenerate that and take a look at what we get. So we'll start to backplot that by selecting the toolpath, left clicking. And we can see as soon as we come in, now we're able to follow the chain with the tool holder, but we're also able to tilt away enough not to hit the side of the part or any other walls. So as we run back and forth through that, let's see how that looks. Now, we can see at one given point here that it actually needs to transition away to be able to keep that tool holder in contact with this chain and keep the tool tilted away contact-wise with our cut pattern. The tool needs to actually move at a different angle so we're not getting a good clean cut in this area right here. But we are not colliding with that part any longer. So it did give us a nice amount of strategy and enough to keep the tool from hitting the side of the part. I'm going to jump back in here for a moment. And I'm going to go ahead and look over here at clearance type. So we have cylindrical. So these are basically the values based on these information here of where and how much distance before it makes any contact. So the holder, we have 2 millimeters. We have 0.2 millimeters on the shoulder of our tool. And at the shank value, we gave that a 0.5 millimeter. And we do have an option if we wanted to for an angular clearance. But in this case, we're just using the main 3 here. And that's what this is looking at when it goes in there to make the cut. So we've gone back in, we've looked at another strategy. We actually have made a better toolpath, but we still have a little bit of an issue. So in our next video, let's see if we can make that a little bit better.